Pandarosh present. Spoiled Rotten by Mohamed Elagoza, Part 5 and Final. Mustafa quietly opens the door and tiptoes his way to the bedroom.
Malika? What's this? Why? Why? I'm going to kill you! I am going to kill you!
Mustafa was shocked beyond belief when he saw Malika cheating on him with another man, Luai, right before his eyes. He confronted Malika and Luai, but Luai was much stronger than him. Mustafa struggled until Luai forcibly kicked him out of the apartment and bolted the door shut. Mustafa began pounding and banging on the door, trying desperately to get them to open it, but to no avail.
Open the door, you fuckers! Why? Why did you do this? I will not leave you two! I will kill you! I will fucking kill you!
The scene didn't last long. Mustafa felt suffocated and unbalanced, his heart almost stopping from the shock. He quickly went down to his car. Meanwhile, moments passed for Malika in silence, mixed with fear of what had transpired. Luai tried to calm her down, but she began blaming him.
You are the reason for everything, because you refused to marry me, even secretly, out of fear from your wife. I just want a family and a stable home.
Just marry anyone, just to have that stability and we could spend our lives together. Why did you choose Mustafa for this mission?
He seems the most suitable. I wanted someone who wouldn't suffocate me like my previous husband. Mustafa made me laugh with a few sweet words and some food.
I'm happy the situation had resolved so we could be comfortable.
And what's it to you? You're not losing anything. You have your wife and kids, and I'm just a backup plan.
Luai became infuriated by her words and told her to end the matter definitively. She began to sweet-talk him to calm him down. Meanwhile, tears streamed down Mustafa's face as he couldn't believe what he had witnessed. He couldn't find an explanation. He felt like he had fallen from the highest to the lowest point, aimlessly driving through the streets in his car. After some time, he decided to return home. His mother was alarmed by his appearance, but he refused to tell her anything about what had happened and asked her to bring him his sleeping pills. She was deeply worried and couldn't keep herself composed. She didn't know the truth, but sensed something tragic had occurred. She had never seen her son in such a state before. She brought him the pills as requested and left without saying a word. She called his friends to find out what had happened, but no one knew anything. Mustafa laid on his back, staring at the ceiling without moving. Tears continued to flow silently. Random thoughts and questions swirled in his mind incessantly. Suddenly, he saw the Bedouin woman again, clearly a result of the sleeping pills. The woman started blaming him, saying he was superficial and that she had tried to warn him before. She reminded him of the truth about Malika and the dream and placed him in difficult situations with the lady of the cave to make him realize the concept of responsibility. However, he remained the same. Sadness and tears, regret and pain. These were the common denominators that brought Talia and Mustafa together on that night. She was shocked by the news of his marriage, while he was devastated by what he witnessed of betrayal. Restless nights and interrupted sleep filled with nightmares and unsettling dreams haunted them both. The reel of events and memories played before their eyes, events that were beyond their ability to comprehend. After Mustafa's nerves settled a bit, he recounted everything to his mother. She tried to ease his shock.
You should be thankful you discovered Malika's true nature before marrying her. You should resign from your job to completely distance yourself from her, especially since you're a successful lawyer and could easily find work elsewhere.
She took him and traveled to Alexandria to lift him out of this gloomy mood. Alexandria, an ancient Egyptian coastal city. A few months passed, enough for Mustafa to re-enter the arena of life. The scene repeated daily. Mama Zuzu prepared the table, placed the pots of stews and delicacies. Happiness can come from the simplest of things.
How's your new job, my son?
Yeah, everything's fine.
And how's your son, Safe?
I actually don't know. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Despite knowing that Saif was the one who would be able to comfort him during these difficult times, he couldn't bring himself to visit Talia's house. He blamed himself for what he had done to her. Moreover, thoughts of Talia had been on his mind constantly over the past months. He remembered their conversations and realized how he had been chasing illusions while neglecting the love Talia genuinely had for him.
Mom, I want to go back to Talia, but I know she wouldn't accept or forgive me.
Look, my son, you should take the first step and talk to Talia about it.
Mustafa met with Mazen to discuss his situation with Talia. He started outlining a plan for him. You should talk to Talia. Go confidently, take a bouquet of flowers in hand, and speak to her directly. The next day, and before Talia finished work by more than half an hour, Mustafa waited for her anxiously. He didn't know how she would react. He hoped she would agree. Internal tension gripped him like the nervousness before an exam. Finally, Talia appeared. Mustafa approached her and greeted her.
Hey, Talia.
She didn't respond. He tried again.
Talia,
What do you want, Mustafa?
I know that I'm guilty. I know it. And I can't forgive myself. I'm held accountable for what I've done to you.
Oh, so now you're here after what happened with your beloved girlfriend? Looking for a replacement? Of course, because you're not used to losing anything. I understand you well now.
I now realize my mistake. I admit that throughout my life, I've been accustomed to getting whatever I want and only thinking about my own desires. When we got married, I expected you to cater my every whim. My understanding of relationships was flawed, and I couldn't distinguish between my life before and after marriage. Also, I never tried to understand what was bothering you or how we could resolve our conflicts, which were minor and could have been easily solved. Instead of communicating with you, I looked for someone else to talk about my problems, ultimately choosing the easiest solution, divorce. Malika blinded me, clouding my judgment, and I followed her blindly until reality struck me and I realized the stark differences between us. I let go of a woman who truly loved me. Talia, please,
Please forgive me and give me another chance.
I'm sorry, Mustafa, but no. I heard many promises from you before we got married, and I had imagined that you would make me the happiest person in the world. However, I was disappointed, and I can't trust you again. I would be happy if you truly changed, as my experience with you had made me rethink things and realize many mistakes I have made. I assure you, I forgive you, but I can't come back to you because I know you well enough. That's why I know why you came today, because you were looking for a replacement to fix your life after it had collapsed. Also, I'm going to marry my cousin.
Mustafa hadn't anticipated hearing this from Talia. Many scenarios had crossed his mind, but marriage wasn't one of them. He felt a profound disappointment, as if the world had turned its back on him. He returned home feeling distracted and shared everything that happened between him and Talia with his mom.
Mom, Talia's going to marry someone else.
What? Okay, maybe I should talk to Talia myself.
No. You should just leave things as they are.
After a while, Mustafa was surprised by a call from Ahmed, his former colleague at work, amid their conversation.
So, how's everything with Talia?
She's going to marry her cousin.
Ahmed was taken aback by Mustafa's words and recounted the details of the conversation he had with Talia.
Talia had wanted to reconcile with you and was shocked when she found out you were going to marry Malika. Talia had asked me not to mention anything about our conversation. However, I felt compelled to inform you now that I know she's going to marry someone else, hoping you could persuade her to reconsider.
What Mustafa heard from Ahmed gave him a glimmer of hope. Something inside him made him feel that Talia still loved him. He started contemplating another attempt to win her heart. He decided to contact Talia's friend Salma, who might be able to convince her. However, he postponed dealing with it until the morning. The next day, Mustafa woke up and asked his mother to make him something to drink. Mustafa opened his laptop and started searching for Salma in Talia's friends list on social media. After a bit of searching, he found her and sent her a voice message.
Hey, Salma. I hope you're doing good. I was wondering if you could help me with a problem I have with Talia. I just wanted to ask you about Talia's engagement. Is it really true she's engaging to Amr?
Sadly, this is true. I was strongly against the idea of divorce. I advised Talia to try again, but Talia was adamant and convinced that everything was over between you two.
Can't you try again with Talia, please?
Yeah, for sure.
Following their conversation, Salma briefly pondered and quickly decided not to contact Talia again. This decision came after sensing Mustafa's growing interest, especially as he started to change. Moreover, she knew Mustafa's character well and had gleaned almost everything about him from Talia's words. Salma then informed Mustafa that she had spoken to Talia.
Hello, Mustafa. Sadly, I tried speaking to Talia and even brought up the topic of Saif, suggesting it would be best for him to be raised by both his parents. However, Talia remained resolute in her decision, expressing that she wanted Saif to be raised in a stable environment where she felt secure. She believed that she wouldn't be able to provide the stability they needed, just as you had failed to do in your relationship.
Mustafa was stunned by Salma's word. Despite his disappointment, she tried to console him, assuring him that she would be there for him whenever he needed her.
I really need someone with me during this period, and you are the only one who can help me the most, Salma.
Mustafa is overwhelmed with despair. One day, while he was busy with his work, he received a call from his mother.
Mustafa, I spoke to Talia, and what she said revealed many things. I discovered that I was the reason behind everything that happened between you two. When I got married, you became my entire life after your dad passed away. I devoted my entire life to your happiness and fulfilling your desires, even without you asking. But my excessive betting made you unable to handle responsibility with your wife. Son, please forgive me for ruining your life.
However, Mustafa got angry at her words.
No, Mom, that is not true. And Talia said those things because she was changing how she treated me.
Talia is right, my son, in everything she said. I assure you that I tried to tell Talia that you have changed and that what happened between you was due to haste and lack of experience. I promised her that you would be a different person and that you realized your mistake. However, Talia told me that she couldn't forget your relationship with Malika, especially since it happened shortly after your breakup, while she was trying to get closer to you and couldn't imagine anyone else in your life, and that her decision to marry Amr, her cousin, was final.
Mom, please, completely close that chapter on Talia. Trust me, she will regret this decision later.
To get out of this bad mood, Mustafa asks his mother to prepare a meal for him. The chapter on Talia with all its details closed. Old habits die hard, as they say. Days passed, and then years. The whirlpool of life engulfed Mustafa again. You could say he was still the same. Saif grew up, entered university, and is going to become a great engineer. One time, Mustafa asked to see him. Saif was surprised by his father's call, especially since Mustafa hadn't contacted him for a long time. He always wondered where he was when he spoke to find out his news. Saif asked his mother Talia for permission to visit his father. She agreed immediately. In the middle of their conversation, Saif asked her,
Mom, did you love Dad in the past?
Yes, Saif. Indeed, I loved him. I believe that my decision not to return to him was the most right decision I've ever made. Also, your stepdad Amr doesn't fall short in anything with me or you.
After finishing his day at university, Saif arrived at his father's house, which he hadn't visited in a long time. Mustafa welcomed his son with a happy embrace. Glad to see him. Amid their conversation, Mustafa asked his son,
Why don't you come live with me, son?
This request came too late, Dad. I waited for many days to hear such a request from you. But unfortunately, it never happened. You didn't even visit me on holidays. And I needed your presence more than sending money or calling the phone. However, now I understand that you need me after Grandma passed away and your marriage with Salma didn't work out.
This realization prompted Mustafa to make this request simply because he didn't want to live alone.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to live with you, Dad. But I promise that I will check up on you and won't delay if you needed anything from me.
Mustafa felt a deep sadness in his son's words, whom he even didn't know his age. He felt abandoned by everyone and feared continuing his life alone. Determined to occupy himself with anything alongside his work, Mustafa decided to go to the gym, cafe shop, and make new friendships. His first step was to reconnect with his old friends, Mazen and Haytham, aiming to spend the rest of his life with them. See you in the next storybook from Pandarosh with writer Mohamed Elagoza, voice acting Adham RB, Mariam Hani, translation Adham Mahmoud, editing Mariam Hani, art direction Ali Saeed, sound engineering Tamer Yahya, international distribution Sandos Tamer, general supervision Wael Atta, production manager Rasha Yahya, narrating and directing Khalid Mahgoob. Best regards with Pandarosh.